What's up everyone? Hope you're doing well today. My name is Qasim and today I've got a bunch of battery saving tips for your iPhone. Now before we actually start, check down below in the description because I've divided this video into chapters so that way you guys aren't seeing any tips that you've seen before. Now first and foremost, I'd like to start with one of the simplest tips I could give any of you. So this is going to be keeping your phone face down. Now, the reason this is because your iPhone is able to detect when it's face down. So that way it's not going to turn on the screen each time you get a notification. I mean, think about it, going throughout your day, let's say you get 50 different notifications, your iPhone screen has to turn on 50 different times just to display that notification to you. So just by setting your phone face down, not only are you not going to get distracted when you're in the middle of a conversation or when you're working on something, but at the same time, your iPhone isn't unnecessarily going to be turning the screen on just to show that you have a notification. And this is going to help with unnecessary battery drain throughout the day. Now for the next tip, you're going to need to take out your iPhone. Now this is about the location services for apps. So what you're going to want to do is go into the settings of your iPhone, go down into privacy, and then go into location services. So now here, if you take a look at all of my apps, most of them say that the location is going to be used when I'm actually using the app. The reason you want to go through this list, because especially when you guys are outdoors and you're on a cellular network, if you just have a bunch of apps tracking your location, it's going to just drain out your battery for no reason. I mean, a lot of the apps like retail apps, you don't really need them to track your location all the time. So often we download an app and we just hit allow quickly. And next thing you know, you've got a bunch of apps that are just always using your location. So to avoid this, just go into here, go into each app. If you tap on any of the apps, you'll be able to adjust location access and change it to never, ask, while using the app, or always. So this is just something that you want to go over and make sure you're not wasting battery by giving your location to every single app that's on your iPhone. All right, guys, next up is Bluetooth app settings. Now this is very similar to the previous one. If you go into settings, then you scroll down into privacy, then select Bluetooth. Here you're going to see all the apps that have access to Bluetooth devices on your network. For example, in my case, like I have Google Home. So I wanted to be able to see the different Bluetooth devices I have because, I might be adding something into my home. I might be streaming music to a particular device. So for apps like that, that's okay. But random apps, just go through this list and make sure that apps that are like retail apps or other apps don't have access to Bluetooth devices on your network, because again, it's just going to keep looking for them, and the next thing you know, you're just wasting battery throughout the day by allowing each app access to the Bluetooth devices on your network. All right, so next tip is again app related. Now this one is for background app refresh. So in your phone, go into the settings, then scroll down to general, and then go to background app refresh. So here again, you're going to see a bunch of apps that have the background app refresh turned on for. So I've gone through this entire list and just turned off apps that I don't need to be refreshing all the time. For example, look at the Airbnb app. That doesn't need to be refreshing in the background all the time. So I've turned it off. So all your useful apps that you want to be able to refresh in the background, those are going to be great to have on, but the rest, they're just going to waste battery. And again, same thing applies here. If you're on a cellular network and you're away from Wi-Fi, then what happens is that background app refresh actually drains your battery quicker when you're on a cellular network as opposed to Wi-Fi. So when you're out and about, having a bunch of these apps turned off, it's going to be really good in saving battery throughout the day. So just go through this list and turn off any unnecessary apps so that way you can save a little bit more battery throughout the day. Alright guys, so next tip is going to be to use dark mode. Now I've mentioned this throughout my other videos, like review videos for iPhones and stuff, and I've even done a dedicated video on why this is useful. But what happens is that if you're in light mode, when you're navigating throughout your phone, your LCD display, OLED display, whichever display you have in your iPhone, has to work harder to display the lighter colors. So the pixels have to get brighter just to display menus and as you're navigating throughout your iPhone. By setting it to dark mode, you're automatically going to reduce the impact the display is going to have on the battery throughout the day. So this is a great one. It's really like you turn this on and now on no effort of your own, you're just simply saving battery life throughout the day. Alright guys, so the next tip is going to be keeping the apps open in your app drawer. Now, you might have heard that you want to go in and close out all the apps and how this might actually benefit the battery life, but it actually doesn't. Keeping the apps open actually keeps them in like a pause mode. So they're using the iPhone's RAM to just kind of stay in pause. And when you go back to that app, it basically resumes right from where you left it off. Now, if you were to actually close all these apps out, then what's going to happen is it's going to purge them from the RAM. And basically, when you go back to open it, it's going to reload the app from scratch. So this is actually going to use up more battery as opposed to keeping the app open in the background. So this is one that you want to keep in mind. Like I often have so many different apps open and I leave them open. And the only time they close is when I probably restart my phone, which is probably once every couple of days. Alright guys, so next up is changing your vibration settings. So this one is really optional because I know a lot of people like to have their phone vibrate and ring or vibrate and get your text tone or notification tone, but having this off actually helps a lot. Like I only have it on when my phone is in silent because when it's not in silent, it's only going to ring or it's going to send me the sound of the notification of whatever app I got a notification for. And this helps saving in battery life throughout the day simply because the haptic engine and the vibration motor doesn't have to work again and again. Especially like if you're in group chats where you're getting messages back and forth and your phone is just vibrating one after the other, you're basically reducing your battery life by having that on, especially if you have the tones for the notifications on. So I keep mine off in ringer mode and then I keep it on in silent mode. All right, so how you want to go about actually changing this setting is going into the settings app, scroll down to sounds and haptics, and then inside here you're going to see that I have mine off for when it's in ring and I have it on for when it's in silent. This is optional, but I highly suggest doing this because it's going to again impact just saving little bits of battery that the vibration motors use in your phone throughout the day. Alright guys, so next up on the list is turning off. Now the reason this is that this is again optional because I know a lot of people, if you're using it for your smart home or for a lot of tasks, you want it on, but if you can, keep it off and just trigger the assistant with the power button or whichever way works for your particular iPhone model. Now, I have this off because the only time I use commands like that is here at this desk with these little HomePod minis I have mounted up. So your phone is constantly listening for that keyword throughout the day. So it's just constantly looking out for when you're going to say the command and when it should trigger Siri. And because of that, it's just draining battery life without you even knowing. So it's best to turn it off, especially if you don't really use Siri all that much. Alright guys, so the last tip I have for you is optimize battery charging. Now this one is more good for just the health of your iPhone's battery. I will be doing a video on how to charge your iPhone the right way so you guys can maintain the battery health as long as possible. Now, first and foremost, to turn this on, you need to go into settings, then scroll down into battery, and then tap where it says battery health, and you'll see my maximum capacity is still 100%. even though in a few months I will have this phone for almost a year. Now, down below is where you see optimized battery charging. So what this does, guys, is that it learns from your daily habits. So for example, let's say you sleep at 10 p.m. and you throw your phone on the charger, and let's say you wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. So what it's going to do is charge up the battery, but hold the charge at 80% until right before you wake up. Now what this does is this is really good for the aging of the battery's life. Now I personally use this all the time, and I really think that you guys should too. And like I said, I'll do a video in detail about how to charge your iPhone the right way. Alright guys, so these are all the battery saving tips for your iPhone that I've got for you all today. I really hope that this video had some tips that were new, some tips that you just didn't know about, and I hope you really found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up, comment down below with any questions about battery life or anything else that you'd like to ask me, and most importantly guys, take care of yourselves, and I will see you all in the next video.